All right, I will call the Human Services Committee meeting to order. This agenda was posted in the office of the county clerk. Notice was sent to the Western Daily News. All right, I will call the Human Services Committee.
Sorry.
WMBZ Radio, WTKM Radio, My Community Now, Hartford Times Press, Kewaskum Statesman, and the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Roll call. Well, Lois and I are here and Don is here, so that gives us a quorum. And yes, I will turn over to Mr.
Supervisor Sorcy is absent today due to he's too busy to attend to the proper business of his committee that he's assigned to. He is not excused, he is absent. So have it noted as such. Thank you.
All right. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm used to it being in that corner. So.
I know.
Where did it go?
We all did.
Turn the corner.
I did early on.
You pledge allegiance to Cara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then the next item on our agenda is our consent agenda, which is just the minutes from last month's meeting.
So moved.
To approve. Is there a second? I'll second it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, and that motion carries. All right, then our discussion items. The first one is the Aging and Disability Resource Center Director's Report. Tammy, you're up.
I don't get a fancy take today.
What's her name?
You know, yeah, what's her name?
I remember you.
Oh. All right, well, I submitted the report. I'm going to hit on the highlights. I had reported on this, I believe it was back in October. We submitted a project proposal with the West Bend Chamber of Commerce Leadership Committee. And we were chosen and we wanted to focus on reducing social isolation. So we've been working with that group. It was 4 committee members. Then one of the committee members had to drop out because of relocating. So I've had 3 of those committee members working with myself and 2 other ADRC staff. The first thing we did was sent out surveys to get people to participate in the project, and we got about 20 people that were willing to participate. So we're piloting this project. And then kind of looked at the responses and determined what we wanted to do with it. We had a whole bunch of ideas. The committee was a little erratic in we want to do this and we want to do this, and it was all over the place. And so we finally reeled them in. And our focus is working with the schools to create intergenerational relationships between the participants and the students. So we had 2 West Bend High School seniors that interviewed and videotaped 4 of the participants. They also interviewed and videotaped some of their classmates that are personal care workers or CNAs, and then collected some data and information on social isolation. And they are in the process right now of putting that video together. So it's a video project for their senior year of high school. And as soon as I have that, I'll send it out. So we're really excited to see the final product on that. And we intend to use that for social media purposes. And then as the project grows in the future, to use that to gather more participants in this original group of 20 that we're doing for the pilot program. One of the committee members met with Kewaskum School District, and they are interested in having some of their high school students work with the participants to teach them about technology, simple things such as FaceTiming, text messaging, that sort of thing. My kiddos go to Addison Elementary in Slinger, so I met with the principal and the school counselor there, and they are interested in, I don't like this term, but I've been using it, adopting some of our participants. And then next year for the whole school year, a classroom will work with one of the participants doing things such as mailings, writing letters back and forth, maybe birthday video greetings, getting them involved in classroom, volunteering in the classroom, reading to the class, that sort of thing. So whatever the participant is willing to do, and depending on how much they want to participate and be involved, the schools will work with that. Addison Elementary did say they were very interested. They think they'll have several teachers that will be on board with it. So in August, I'll be meeting with some of the teachers that are interested, explaining the project, and then they will have that participant for the entire school year. It's not on the report because it just happened today, but met with the principal at St. Francis Cabrini. He has 2 classrooms that he is interested in having participate as part of service projects that they do. So getting those participants involved there. We're waiting to hear back from St. John Lutheran and West Bend High School to set up meetings, West Bend School District. I don't have a specific school named at this point to see if there would be more people interested. So we're super excited about it. Once we kind of figured out our focus, we were able to run with that. The group graduates in May. So after they graduate, between myself and a few other staff will manage the project ongoing. And it's really just connecting the participants that are interested with the school district and kind of letting the schools run with what they feel would be best as far as programming. Then I also connected with the volunteer center. They had a Do Good bus project coming up. They delivered some kindness boxes with coffee and other kindness things, trinkety things, to some of the participants of this project. And then I've also been working with Amy Hackman through Aurora. She's their community health educator. She's working on a social isolation project, and Interfaith is also interested in working on it. So we're all kind of in the beginning stages of talking, collaborating, and seeing where we can go with this in the future. There's also a group statewide. This is a huge initiative. So they hired a position at the state level through the Department of Public Health. She's brand new, but I have already contacted her. Her name is Carly Olson, to discuss the project with her as well and potentially get involved in that committee and initiative on a statewide level. So those are all the updates I have. Do you have any questions?
If I could cause confetti and balloons to fall from the ceiling right now, I would. I don't have that power, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel about this project. I think this is just terrific.
Thank you.
I mean, to hook up mature adults like I and Matt are, and this one over here.
I'm just a baby.
Yeah, the kid.
Well, you have all that white hair.
I'm so glad you kept me.
I just think this is just terrific, Tammy.
Thank you.
So really,
We're really excited
carrying
about it.
so
Thank you.
Yeah, and down the road, who knows? I may ask for some of those services.
Absolutely. You call me if you want to be involved.
I think we all know parents or have had parents that have had issues with, they want to stay at home and they just don't want to move on and try different things and get out and meet people. So it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
For sure it is.
I think it's for success.
Yeah, this is Pam. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
hi, Pam.
Sorry, it finally got connected. I don't know if I got too many computers up in my house or what. But yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, I was so excited reading this agenda item and the details of this program and how you're partnering with the schools. I think that's just priceless. And when people ask me, how's your county supervisor role going? And I tell them it's a privilege. And, especially the resources that I learn about and able to share with the community, just, your example that you just shared with us. It's just priceless and a privilege. So thank you so much for your efforts. And I'm hoping that's sustained in about 20 years when I'll need it.
Yeah. I'm really excited to show the final video. We brought 4 people in that agreed to be videotaped, and they were a little bit leery. I'm kind of a crier, like a happy or a sad crier. So some of the things these participants said, I was just a blubbering mess in the corner. And one lady who came, she is deaf and she does not use sign language. So she can only lip read. So I don't know when her disability came on, if it was later in life or if she just never had the opportunity to learn sign language. And so one of the staff in my office sat with her and kind of wrote on the whiteboard. And she talked about in the video how difficult that was to be deaf because it's so hard to communicate with people. And one of the things she said was nobody wants to be an invisible human being. So she's just so isolated. Then you add the disability on top of it. Then you can't hear what anybody's saying. It was super moving. So, with any project and any new initiative, there's like those bumps in the road and those kinks along the way. And you think, is this ever going to go anywhere? And it's all just kind of finally coming together. So yeah, we're really excited about it. And I'll keep you all updated. I'll call you, Chris.
Okay, good.
And you, Don, too. Keep you all updated as things move forward.
Great.
So thank you.
Thank you.
I think this project is really good. We already have social isolation with our seniors. I know my mother-in-law is that way. She doesn't want to go out, doesn't want to do anything. And with the COVID, the social distancing, all that stuff has exacerbated it even more.
Okay.
So having a program like this reach out and get those people out of their shell. And even with my mother-in-law, once she got out and started doing some, yeah, she had fun.
Yeah.
It was nice to be out and meeting with people rather than sitting home doing her crossword puzzles and watching the game show network
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
So I think this is great, and getting young people involved with the schools. It's, we're a community, and like old Hillary said, it takes a village, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It really does. I mean, that's one of the things that I can actually agree with her on, so.
Can I add something?
Yes.
This is exciting because I remember being in high school. I went to Oscar School District, and I remember we did a project in history class working with seniors, and we interviewed them at Turner Hall and Fillmore, and just not to underestimate and I'm sure it was really great for the older generation, but how good it was for the younger generation too, and the integration. So this is really exciting because I think it left quite the impression as well. Yeah, we did that. So I remember that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, that was a feel-good moment there.
Yeah. Maybe we should have started with yours.
And now there's really.
We're still on time, yeah. We're still doing okay.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next item is the 2021 out-of-home care and inpatient hospitalization report.
Yeah, so a little bit of a more tempered report. So I do just want to start off with, we've reported this several times throughout the year, sort of where we were at with these 2 large budget drivers. So just to remind this committee and anybody else that the 2 largest drivers of the human services budget is out-of-home care for children and inpatient hospitalization for mental health crises. We budget that those 2 items, but it is at any point in time our best guess. It is a statutorily required service and payment and that we must make, and we do everything we can to manage that need and manage those services. But what ends up being at the end of the year is really what ends up being at the end of the year. There's not a lot we can do about it. And so for both areas, obviously we've been overspent of what we initially budgeted, given that our budget is just a target. And that's pretty much been consistent at least since the time I've been here for the last 5 years, probably.
8 years that I've been on.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're always overspent. What a bummer. we're no Tammy. So, but I think it's important, obviously the transparency to this committee and to the community to just, make sure that you're aware of where we ended the year. I will say, this was at the end of my committee report as well, is that the Human Services budget, however, did come in under budget overall, because we are consistently every month looking at all of our cost centers and our expenditures and our revenues, trying to manage for the fact that we know these areas will be overspent. And so in the 5 years I've been here, at least, we've been under budget every year, and I hope to continue that track record. But I think a couple of things that's important to know, at least for 2021, what was kind of our areas, our pain points for expenditures is we have had at least 7 people consistently placed in Trempealeau Institute for Mental Disease. And 4 of them, I think currently 5 of them, are family care patients or clients, meaning that when they're not in an Institute for Mental Disease, family care and the managed care organization that's assigned to them is responsible for their services and therefore the payment of their services. So they need a community-based placement in a CBRF or a group home. The family care and that MCO is responsible for them. When they get placed into an Institute for Mental Disease, the county takes over, and the MCO is not responsible for their care, and even though they're still getting a capitated rate for them. So
Is an MCO a state organization or what?
So it's essentially, it's almost like, if you think about it as like an HMO. So it's organizations like community care. They bid to the state to run the family care program. Okay. And then the state provides them, the Medicaid funding to care for and service these individuals. And so they sort of get this capitated rate per client that they have, and they're managing services according to that. So right now, though, there's really very little incentive for the MCOs to act quickly to get these individuals into a community setting. We've been working very diligently with them. We have actually a weekly call with them and trying to push the issue, because an IMD long-term is not a great long-term solution for individuals. They really do need to be into a community level setting. And so we've been working very diligently. We've played some pretty serious hardball with them. We've seen some movement, but it is an issue that we consistently struggle with, primarily because their response to us is that they can't find an appropriate placement. And so one of the strategies that we have taken is we find an appropriate placement and we'll pay the first month. And then once that individual is out of the IMD and in a community placement after the first month, then the MCO is responsible. So that has been to mixed review from the MCOs, but it has, I think, put a little bit more fire under them to work more diligently to find an appropriate placement. So because our Trempealeau expenses were quite significantly higher than we anticipated last year, and right now trending for this year as well. The other area that I just wanted to bring to your attention for the out-of-home care, and we did bring this to the committee in June of 2021 to just make sure that you are aware that we did need to place 4 children in and out-of-state placement at a fairly high cost per day, just because there were no residential placements that were appropriate for their level of need. There is some internal statewide work with Department of Children and Families and county agencies to try to figure out a way to get those level of placements in Wisconsin, because it's just not a Washington County issue. Every county has had a number of children who need a different level of care that we cannot find in Wisconsin. And so that is one of the bigger areas for our expenditures in out-of-home care. But I also do want to just bring your attention to, though, that the work that we've done in the last couple of years around subsidized guardianship, this year in 2022, we will start getting reimbursed from the state for that. So there's some really great work done at the county board level and at the state level to make that happen. And so if you were to apply that to last year, we would have only really been over budget in around about $40-some thousand because we would have got the reimbursement for subsidized guardianship. So we're hopeful that impacts us positively for 2022. So I will stop there and see if there's any specific questions that the committee might have.
As I said, the 8 years that I've been on the county board, I understand this has always been the case. And I also understand how much of a guesswork it is for you at budget time, trying to anticipate who might end up at Mendota or Winnebago or Trempealeau or what, and that's like, I had to deal with that when I worked for the county in the clerk's office, the circuit court, but I'm well aware of what a difficult position that puts you in. But the other thing, in the 5 years that you've been here, and the fact that your budget's always been in the black, says a lot for how you've run this division. So I congratulate you on that. You've done a terrific job. That is not the way it was prior to you coming on board. So we got a good one in you, Judy.
Good, thank you.
Ambulance.
I'm gonna write that down just in case there's a year I'm gonna write.
Yeah.
Lois, do you have any questions?
I do.
Pam, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I hope you're not retiring for a long time, Julie. You're oh my goodness. That black magic or whatever you do with the budget and how you work through this. Thank you. And still yet providing all the services that people need. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. And if I may just have an add-in agenda item, we just have a small gift for you, Chairwoman Dice, on behalf of Health and Human Services.
Yeah, but you guys are the ones who've done all the work.
So I just want to say, yes, we may be doing the day in and day out work, but having you as our advocate and how supportive you have been of our areas, our departments, and our divisions has been so. We cannot underscore enough how helpful that has been to be able to get the work that we need to get done.
Tammy, doesn't need much to get it.
And I also just want to say, I am a huge editor of people's writing myself, and I've always appreciated Chris being my editor-in-chief. I've always appreciated that, and she's always made sure our reports are spot on and nothing is ever posted that isn't supposed to be accurate. But again, you will be so greatly missed. We're a little nervous over here at Human Services because you've been just such a cheerleader for us. And anything that we've needed or needed to, get the community to understand that need, you've been there for us and helped at the county board. So, we appreciate you and we'll miss you so much. And Matt wants us to all clap.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Well, I've chaired this committee for the 8 years I've been on the board. But it's been such a pleasure because of the people we have in this county, our department heads. I think they're all terrific. I realized this the 30 years I worked for the county. I think our county stands out from others in the state, and I've always been proud to serve Washington County and the people that live here. And I will miss all of you terrifically. That's the only hard part of this. But life goes on. And I know where you all, I can contact you, so too bad for you.
Yeah, you can come and heckle us. And we'll keep you in mind for all these committees that we.
She'll be on committees, I'm sure.
We need community representation.
You may not be going away.
No, that's wonderful, way beyond anything. I never expected any of this, so thank you so much. Thank you.
I think there's a card there too. I think you might have to read the card.
Oh, thank you, Don.
No, that's not-
Don.
that's not-
Well, thank you for pointing out the card.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have to read it out loud. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, how lovely. Well, we don't want this to run it. I'll look at this. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be here like this. All right, so getting back to business, I guess. Next meeting date is to be determined, and you'll have a new person sitting here, so that's all we have. There being no further business, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Hi, Pam.